Everyone who does cardio wants to burn as many calories as possible. And that's why you should start racking. Racking is the ultimate fat burning activity that is much easier on your joints than running. A lot of people are already walking, so why not enhance that effect with a little bit of extra weight? And yes, that's exactly what racking is. You walk with extra weight in your backpack, and thanks to this, your body will be forced to burn much more calories than before. So it's perfect for burning a ton of calories and saving your time. And don't forget that being in a better physical condition will result in more muscle gains, just because you won't get tired so easily, and you will be able to push way harder. So let's see how you can implement walking and eventually racking into your daily life. First of all, you should definitely start with just walking without any weight, but that kind of depends on your level of fitness. If you are overweight, for example, then you don't really need to do racking, because just walking normally is basically racking for you. Even if you are not overweight, but you are just not used to walking frequently, then you should also start with just walking without any added weight. Your first goal should be to reach 10,000 steps every day without any added weight. It's not a shame to start with an even lower amount than that. As I said, it all depends on your current level of fitness. You just need to start and you will improve over time. But when you get to the point where you can start adding weight, you should definitely not do that every day. Doing like 1 to 2 racks per week will be more than enough for starters. And on the other days when you are not racking, you can just go walk around normally, without any added weight. And as you get more experienced, you can increase the number of racks per week to like 3 or 4, but I would not recommend more than that, as it can get pretty exhausting if you overdo it. If you have been watching this channel for a while, you know that when we are training in the gym, we need to progressively overload to build muscle. And it's no different with walking/racking. Progressive overload is still extremely important. Well, how do I progressively overload on walking/racking? I'm glad you asked. It's actually really simple. We have 4 ways in which you can progressively overload. They are speed/time, distance, load, and the incline. So let's go over them one by one. The speed/time is pretty obvious. You simply try to speed up your pace over time. But don't forget, we don't want to be running, just walking. The distance is also pretty self-explanatory. You just start adding more and more steps over time. And the incline refers to walking uphill, which is obviously harder than walking on a flat ground, which also makes it a valid form of progressive overload. And the load refers to the amount of weight that you put in your backpack. You don't have to use all of these methods of progressive overload at once. In fact, you shouldn't. You should just focus on 1 or 2 of them at a time. If you are not used to walking much, for example, then just focus on the distance element and slowly work your way up to 10,000 steps. And after you do that, you can try focusing on speeding up the pace or start walking routes that are a little more uphill. And after you get comfortable with that, you can finally start adding weight to your backpack. As you reach this point, you should keep in mind that this weight should never be more than 25% of your total body weight, and you should definitely start with just a fraction of that. You can put pretty much anything into your backpack. Weight plates, books, bottles of water, bricks, just whatever that you got laying around can be used. You can even use a weighted vest as well. But please be really cautious with adding more weight. Start with just 1 water bottle or just 1 brick, just keep it light at the start. Remember, you can always increase the weight next time. If you use too much weight too quickly, you will be in for a terrible time. And terrible time is putting it lightly. If you use too much weight, your whole body will start to break down as you walk further and further. And let me tell you, your lower back and knees will not be very happy with your decision. By the way, if you have problems with your spine, you should definitely talk to your doctor first before you start putting any weight on your back. You also really need to pay attention to your posture when you are walking with weight on your back. You don't want to mess yourself up by walking in a slouch. There is one very important thing that you have to keep in mind when you put weights in your backpack. The weight that you put in your backpack needs to be positioned as close to your body as possible, ideally in the center of the backpack. You don't want the weight to be slumping in your backpack. That's why you will need to fill your backpack with some stuff that will make sure that the weight in your backpack will not move anywhere. You can, for example, put clothes in your backpack. That will work nicely. Which brings us to the next point, and that is, what kind of backpack should you use? When you are just starting out, any backpack will do. It's completely fine. But as you get better, you will want to put more weight in your backpack. And that will be very hard with a very soft backpack. You will need a backpack that is sturdy and that ideally has a chest and a belt strap. That will distribute the load from the backpack across your body more favorably. Now that you got that set up, you are almost ready to go. Just remember to wear good boots and most importantly some kind of tight shorts or something similar that will prevent chafing. Trust me, chafing between your thighs is one of the most miserable experiences ever. And lastly, I just want to say that you should not be thinking about rucking as just something that is healthy for your body, but also for your mind. Going outside, getting a breath of fresh air and some sunshine on your face is going to do wonders for your mental health. And that, my friend, is more valuable than anything. If you are looking for an easy to follow training or nutrition plan, then go to bodybuildingsimplified.com and get started today. So what are you waiting for? It's just that simple. And as always, a big thanks to all the supporters on my Patreon. Did you like this video? Then you will for sure like this one too.